This video is brought to you by Midway USA. Support the channel by choosing Midway for your shooting and outdoor supplies.
All right, gang, welcome back into First Shots. Today, we have this. The Atlas Aries 4.25-inch ported 2011 very expensive pistol.
The money 2011. Whereas Mr. Henry Chan here is using a duty grade handgun.
These are still not cheap.
They're not cheap, they're not cheap. But this is, what is 11 of these equals one of those.
Something like that, but Kevin from Full Effing Auto was kind enough to give Henry a Henry Speed money pistol.
But wait, why does this thing have unnecessary attachments to it?
Oh, this is a great question. We've got Henry set up with a custom shop Wilson for the purposes of this video.
This is like giving a Porsche to someone in driver's ed. This is great. This is gonna be fantastic. Nothing bad could happen today.
So we have a dual First Shots video going here. I've shot that handgun before, and that's a very nice.
It feels, in the words of the great Paul Harrell, it feels great in my hands.
I don't know if you remember this one, but we were shooting this one, and I picked it up off the bench at 100 and drilled the C-zone with it on the first shot. That was that pistol.
So extremely accurate is basically both of these, I would presume.
Should be. So I've zeroed this one. That one I know is on because I've shot it before. But yeah, so this is First Shots. I am going to
put this in,
some first shots.
Shoot some first shots. I want to put this into perspective in a bit. I realized I don't have iPro on.
Oh.
Tell them what you think.
Well, clearly, this is a very flat shooting, controllable gun. So this is in line with, for those of you who are completely unfamiliar with what one of these is, it is a 2011, which is not quite the same thing as a double stack 1911, but colloquially we say that they're similar. The difference being that the frame component of this is actually disconnectable from the lower receiver and from the slide. So that's the primary difference between the double stack 1911 and this, the 2011, and Henry here has a standard 1911.
So you see, in 100 years, they figured out how to double stack the magazines correctly.
Hey, are you guys enjoying hanging out on range with us? Well, maybe you'd like to join the Patreon and hop into the private Discord. We'll see you guys there. Let's get back to it.
Okay, I'm being a little facetious here because, quite frankly, I come from a different collector's world. I look at military CNR rifles, and a lot of times when I bring out like Ian's FRF2 or his FRF1 even more so, Josh is looking at that and looking at a bolt action 10 round 7.6251 rifle and asking me, why in the Lord's name is this worth that type of money? Money that you could buy a decent used truck to haul hay with. Why is it worth that money to Josh?
You want to haul hay? Farm life?
My question here, I actually have lived on a farm at one point in my life. Thank you very much, Josh.
So have I know.
Yeah.
We're
But that said, why exactly is this stuff worth
that type of money?
11 of these.
Yeah, I mean, look, a lot of it comes down, I think, to machining, machine time, precision fit machining, so on and so forth. Before you shoot this, I want you to just go ahead and try this.
Okay.
Just go ahead and try it and see, just do nice and controlled, just get your first few shots.
Okay.
Oh, I said it. Just go ahead and go slow, Sonny, and get your hits. We'll do another video. We're gonna do a video on that. Just be controlled and just feel the gun.
Oh, wow. Okay. I get part of this.
Is he starting to feel it already?
I did no. Off the bat, I could feel there is a. You still have recoil, but it is significantly muted.
Yeah.
On the recoil.
Yeah.
It feels like a 22 mag-ish type of recoil.
Yeah.
Not the same sensation. It's still a center fire, so you still get the reliability, I would presume, with the 1911 system. But I'm guessing, is that the
baby.
ported?
Duty grade.
Is that the ported barrel?
That's definitely the ports working.
Okay.
Yes. Also, it's a heavier gun, right? I mean, that one actually has an aluminum frame.
Okay, yeah, Okay, what am I doing there?
Put your left hand tighter onto the side of the gun.
Okay.
Like touch your left thumb to the frame.
Do you have another? Just 2 more shots to. So I wasn't indexing correctly.
I don't know. It looked like you had some gap.
Okay, I wasn't doing the sandwich.
I was seeing that the gun was moving a little bit, like moving a little bit in your hand.
So from an uneducated perspective, the recoil is a lot less.
Yeah.
I would not attribute my misses to a lack of accuracy. That is a lack of practice, which we have a video coming up on.
So I drove that down. I mean, I'm basically able to shoot effective doubles. I mean, that's not quite a double, but I'm able to shoot effectively the equivalent of like a pop-pop at
I'll help you load magazines. I can already tell that this is going to take a few more
run
rounds.
some rounds. Yeah, I can effectively run like a double. Again, not quite, but like I'm effectively shooting pretty rapidly there at 25 and getting, again, mostly center mass hits. So
Okay.
Quite a controllable gun, quite a very pleasant gun to shoot. To your point, there isn't very much recoil going on in the hands at all. It's different than just saying, oh, this gun has like a low, well, okay, we'll use the H9 as an example.
Actually, I was about to say, yeah.
So the H9, I don't know how much different the actual sight rise is on something like that versus say something like this.
I feel like there's
a
a lot of axis movement, but there's not a lot of
soft.
recoil.
Yeah, very soft. Just
Yeah.
kind of holding it there. The dot's leaving the target, but it's coming back to a predictable point, and it's just very, very smooth and very controllable. The trigger on this one, unlike some of the other Atlas guns, which are their true competition models, this one being their like a carry model, is closer to 4.5 pounds on the trigger, maybe 4 pounds. So it's not quite a hair trigger.
Let's rewind this a little bit because now we've got a few shots downrange, right?
All right.
What is this? Tell me the whole story.
You missed this because you left to go get your glasses.
All right.
All right, so this is a 2011 quote-unquote carry-oriented pistol. So in the last 5 years or so, STI, which was one of the primary producers of 2011 style pistols, which again it's not the same thing as a double stack 1911 because the frame is different and the grip is different and disconnects differently. But for the purposes of loose conversation, it's a double stack styled, effectively 1911 platform. STI, which was a big like the production competition 2011 maker in Texas, rebranded to Staccato. Okay.
Okay, from a personal level, STI is such a good brand name. Staccato, it's like that sound they say that they make, like, I thought initially when people were saying staccato and I didn't know they rebranded, I thought the Italians were doing something.
Okay, so STI rebranded under the idea that they were going to produce duty grade 2011s marketed to, again, like civilian law enforcement, etc. Okay, now 2011s historically have been known much not dissimilar in many ways to 1911s as well, especially those that are not chambered in 45, as not having the highest level of reliability.
My experience was with my para ordnance double stack back in the day. I tried to make it work during competitions. It would just fatal choke over and over again.
So yeah, going from the 90s and where 2011s came on the scene into the early 2000s, like, and even to the mid 2000s, 2011s were not known as duty grade guns. They were competition guns. They're extremely tight tolerances. Everything is basically fit very, very tight. And so when you look at the comparison between, say, this and a Glock or another duty grade gun like you've got in your holster over there, the tolerances here are generally going to be materially tighter. That results in a more accurate gun, usually, a more shootable gun, usually, but a more finicky gun, usually.
Well, I mean, your tolerances cannot be that tight with a polymer frame.
Sure.
A metal slide.
Sure, exactly.
Whereas that
This is all metal, right?
Right.
So, to that end, Staccato sort of set that baseline or set that standard for moving from the competition space with 2011s and carrying them into some level of a duty grade or concealed carry function. So, Atlas was a brand that popped up, I think in like 2015, 16. I could get that wrong, but I remember getting my first Atlas when they were a very different price point. They're much more affordable. And Adam, who's the owner at Atlas, was basically like a small shop with like a couple dudes, as far as I know. We met him at SHOT and talked to him a little bit after I had gotten my first pistol from him. And it was basically, I was looking for an STI on the forums, and he contacted me and was like, why don't you, instead of going and buying an STI at the time, why don't you consider one of my guns? And he talked to me about it, whatever. It was great, personalized like interaction marketing, and he got me hooked. So Atlas, I think much like where we saw Staccato pushing towards the more duty-oriented setups, realized that, you know what, if we can make a gun that's going to be reliable and serviceable, we can market it to a heck of a lot more people if it is not just a pure competition gun. And so you have some offerings. If I look at their lineup today, yes, they still have the competition stuff, but there's a whole host of sub 5-inch, meaning, so this is being a 5-inch gun, right? You can see quite a bit shorter here.
It's a little yeah, there we go.
Yeah, this is a 4.25, I believe, but
which is advantageous for holstering.
Right. So the idea being, you have shorter guns. Most of them have gone away from, in fact, I don't think Atlas has any guns anymore that have any sort of red dot mounting that isn't directly milled into the slide. So again, a la the more duty style setups as opposed to old school competition setups. And something like this, instead of being that big, heavy steel frame that Atlas was known for, which is the idea being you're holding on to a very heavy gun, A, keeps the gun from moving, B, it's in an area that isn't reciprocating, so you have mass in a non-moving area, which is generally considered to help control the recoil a bit better. This has got an aluminum frame on it. No magwell, flat flush fit bottom, again for I believe a proprietary magazine, but it is a 16-round flat-bottomed magazine. Most of the standard old school competition stuff is at least 126 millimeters. That's 120 millimeters at the bottom, making it, again, ideal for more of a carry-oriented role.
So my understanding with match is that with match guns, you want to maximize it to fit into that box for competition.
That's certainly part of IDPA rules, yes.
Right. So that's my understanding.
This is still quite a bit smaller than that.
Okay.
So those guns do exist, and I think that there are multiple different. The competition world is adapting and evolving the divisions and what they're allowing with the advent of guns like this, more duty-oriented 2011s. And yeah, there are divisions that are evolving in those ways. But with all of that said, like the piece that I have heard Atlas talk about with respect to the 2011s is that in 9mm, what their goal is for the gun to recoil and return back to the same spot. So I'm not really putting very much force into this at all. I'm just sort of letting it recoil and it comes back down to that same position. And what I've heard Adam say is that you can do that in a shorter gun on a 9mm than with the full length slide, where at the end, because of the recoil differences, you get a dip of the muzzle.
Let me give this Wilson a try. Oh, that is definitely me, gentlemen. God, that is really embarrassing. That
You're
is
driving,
really
I
bad.
think some of that you're driving a bit low. Just try to not impart so much downward force.
Okay.
Nice.
So I'm anticipating or pushing it a little bit.
I think
recoil.
you're imparting too much downward force. I can actually we can overlay it, but if you look at your group on the left that you shot with the Atlas.
Oh, it is low, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, I see that.
I think you're over applying downward force.
This is actually a pretty smooth shooting.
Yeah, I've
pistol
shot
as
this
well.
one quite a bit. This is a very nice pistol.
I quickly
Thank
want
you,
to
Kevin.
contrast
Thank
it.
you.
I quickly want to contrast it with my carry pistol though, because I will cock it to a single, just to get a apples to apples comparison. This is recoiling. There's a lot of flip with P99s to begin with, but you can tell that the recoil is all here, whereas significantly mitigated on that one. The power of German pistols, ladies and gentlemen. Sorry, Josh.
That's okay, Hannah.
Anyways, we have 2 more targets for you to do build drills and stuff with.
All right, I will see if I can draw on this.
Okay.
I have been practicing a little bit more than in some of our other videos to see if I can actually draw at, like, this is 10 yards, so this isn't exactly close, but interested to see if I can actually draw at like a reasonable clip.
Okay. Oh, nice.
All right, not bad, not bad. But yeah, I mean, I feel like
Thanks.
not bad about those. That was not good. I way overdrew, and then I tried to drive it back up at the neck. That was better. I'm not quite. I need to look at what these are in post-production for draw times.
Okay.
Ah, I saw that. Came up on the right.
Okay, so for the uneducated audience and I, what are you looking for when you're drawing and firing?
So I'm trying to draw to the exact perfect position. So I'm here, I'm trying to draw, I'm flipping the safety off about here. I'm starting to get on the trigger and prep. Again, in an ideal world, this is what's happening. And what I'm trying to do is approach the gun sort of comes up. For me, this is how I've learned to draw most efficiently. The gun sort of rises up on a flat plane, and I sort of see the dot come up into the center of the target. I can make a fine-tuned correction if I can obviously see that the dot is like way off. So like that one that I shot in the neck, that I was like, oh yeah, it was way off, and I tried to correct it. It came up closer towards the far left side of the target, and I basically like threw it back across to try to get it in the center, and I didn't correct the height as well. So what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to get the gun into a position where I'm not really stopping or pausing. I'm trying to draw and shoot in basically one fluid motion of like draw, and by the time I'm at extension, I'm pressing the shot so that my draw time is as low as possible. But it really comes down to just being able to draw and present to the exact same spot.
So what about this particular 2011 helps
I don't think that there's anything.
Okay.
No, I don't think that there's anything. I think that whatever you're practicing on in terms of how you're grabbing the grip, how your hand meets the gun, how you present out, you should pick the one gun you're going to really try to shoot performance with and just spend all of your time working on that. Because if I were to immediately right now swap into, let's say, my Glock or my CZ,
or my P99, which is the peak performance pistol for me.
it's the steel killer. If I were to swap into one of those right now, it is unlikely that on like a snap draw, I would be anywhere close to, well, I mean, I would probably be in the ballpark, like it would be on the target somewhere, but I would probably not be drawing right up into the A zone. That would probably not be happening. So ultimately, it's about practice, the repetition of like meeting your hand and drawing and presenting.
So let me ask you about a big question here, and we're nearing the end part of what our recording is. So let me ask you a question. Who is this, like who are these expensive 1911s for? Because
Yeah,
I know the world of MR73s being expensive revolvers. I know the world of Korth, and I know the world of SIG P210s, the Swiss ones.
Yeah.
What is this for?
Okay, so I'll talk about this one, Henry. Like, what is this for? Who is it marketed to? You have to be willing to drop thousands of dollars on a pistol when you could go get a Glock, or if you wanted a steel frame gun, you could go get a CZ or whatever. It's definitely not something, I would say this is a luxury item.
Right.
That's probably a way to describe it. This is a luxury item.
It's kind of like my obsession with Accuracy Internationals then. You could do the same thing with a Remington 700.
Yeah, I think that that's fair. But now maybe for some different reasons, like there's some collectability components to the Accuracy International, but like,
Sure.
Yeah, I think that this comes down to, it's a luxury item that is a way more gun than what the average person knows what to do with.
Now, for the discerning shooter though, who is this for?
I think if you're shooting 2011s in matches, it makes a whole lot of sense if you're trying to mimic what you're carrying with what you're shooting and spending all your time on. I can understand where it would make sense to come in and play and sort of align in that space.
Final thoughts though. I would imagine that if they're able to perfect the reliability for the 2011 for carry use, they could mirror that back into the competition world and increase that reliability, which is absolutely a desirable trait for competition pistols.
I think that that's true. The other piece that I would sort of end this conversation on is you have to remember here, to whatever shape and degree, regardless of what is done to this to make it reliable, there is an implicit element to this gun that this is like the Formula One version of the pistol, meaning you have to maintain it at a much higher degree with a much higher level of care than if you're trying to maintain a polymer frame duty gun.
Like this, like I do abuse my P99.
You could probably shoot this gun, I'll use my Glock because I actually know what I've done with it. I could shoot it hundreds of rounds, thousands of rounds, probably not clean it, probably come out and it would still be 100% good to go. This, I don't know, I haven't shot enough rounds. We've shot 100 and 150 rounds through this. I don't know, but what I do know on some of my other 2011s is that that's not the case. Even really nice, well put together ones, it requires a higher level of maintenance. The maintenance schedule is way higher and way more enhanced than on polymer duty guns. So with that said, what do you say? That was fun. I think I actually shot pretty decent with this too.
And bye!
Missed it by 0.01. So 2.01. 2011s. Guys, until next time, see you on the range.
716 is Steel Knight 6, 4 Vic, 8 packs, Redcon 1, green to green. How copy, over?
Steel Knight 6, this is 716, roger, over. 1 6, Steel Knight 1, 1 pack,